There's no such thing as a small disaster. So when you call 1-800-WATER-DAMAGE of North Dakota, we come prepared to restore your life back to normal. From burst pipes to unexpected mold discoveries or fire damage, when things couldn't be worse, we come to you with our best. With empathy, local expertise, and a truck full of seriously powerful equipment. 1-800-WATER-DAMAGE of North Dakota. Restoring what matters most. 701-670-2022.
Hi there, and welcome to this Valley News Now weather update brought to you by 1-800-WATER-DAMAGE of North Dakota. I'm meteorologist Lisa Green with a look at what we've got coming up here for this week. We've got a wild ride that we are likely to see here with some warm temperatures, then cooling back down. One thing that I'm not looking at is an Arctic outbreak, so we're not going to see that, but some ups and downs in our temperatures and different types of precipitation and experiences as we go through the course of the week. So today's kind of our one big day. We've got some nice warm temperatures, not much wind, and some sunshine out there too. That's making for a pretty decent Monday weather-wise. So I want to talk about that and some good news too as we continue on in the forecast for us here into January. So let's take a look. I've got this picture up behind us. This was actually sent to us on, I believe it was New Year's Eve, as we were seeing the last sundogs of 2025 as that sun was setting. So that New Year's Eve sunset. Well, since then, we've been gaining more and more daylight, and now we can boast that we have 5 p.m. sunsets back. So if you're a 9-to-5er and you leave work right at 5, you get to see sunset now, or at least a little bit of that sun before it sets. And of course, it'll be up longer and later the more we head into the year here as we head toward the spring equinox and eventually the summer solstice. So nice to see that. That's for Fargo specifically. I do want to point out that not everyone has 5 p.m. sunsets yet. Southern Valley, we're seeing them first, and then Northern Valley as we see more sun again developing as we are, of course, tilted away from it in the winter time and toward it in the summer on the Earth's axis. As we're making our way toward the equinox, we gain daylight from south to north, essentially in the northern hemisphere. So it's going to take a little bit longer for the Northern Valley to see that 5 p.m. sunset, either later this week or as late as next week. But we're all working our way toward it, and some of us are getting that right now. So I just want to make sure that I address that, because our folks up in Baudette and up toward Langdon might be like, wait a minute, we're not getting it yet. And that's because you're a little farther north, but eventually it will be that way for you too. And it's going to advance here pretty quickly as we continue to gain daylight. So let's take a look at, I'm going to pull our graphics back up and take a look at officially when our sunrise and sunset is. At the airport in Fargo, today's sunrise was at 8:10 and our sunset 5:02. And tomorrow it is at 8:09 and our sunset will be at 5:03. So gaining daylight both in the mornings and in the evenings now. So soon we'll see that sun up before 8 a.m. We'll talk about that when it happens as well. Okay, let's focus now on what we've got going on. Oh, I do need to point this out. We're gaining 1 minute and 24 seconds of daylight. That's important because the rate of daylight gains is also increasing. When we first started getting sunshine or gaining daylight, I should say, the day after the winter solstice, I believe it was only like 3 seconds we were gaining that day. So we're expanding the amount of time we're gaining. And through the month of January, you might remember I showed this graphic earlier on, we're gaining anywhere between 50 and 60 plus minutes of daylight throughout the course of this month. So an hour, essentially, of daylight is what we pick up. Okay, now let's move on. It's beautiful out there. You can see that sun behind me here. We've got this sunshine nice and bright in our Skycam in West Fargo at the Red River Valley Fairgrounds. If you look closely, you can just make out the Sanford Hospital there and then the West Fargo Water Tower to give you some perspective here. So nice and bright and sunny out there right now, getting to enjoy that sun. It's warming up for us too. We have started off with some frost this morning. If you watch the valley today, I was talking about that quite a bit. Some roads that have frost on them can be icy, and well, frost is ice, but what I mean by that is they can be slippery. And so looking at some areas that are still reporting some ice or frost on the roadways in blue on this map, in northeastern North Dakota especially, but even northwest Minnesota as well. But even as we'll get rid of that, we'll zoom in a little bit more here as we look at the FM Metro. Just outside of the metro, some of our interstates and highways like Highway 10 and 75 there in Clay County are reporting some frost or ice on the roads. And then this again stretches up north too. So, and especially north and east is where we're really experiencing that. So check road conditions if you're hitting the road here before you do so. And you can do that right on the VNN Weather app or valleynewslive.com. So let's talk about what we've got going on this week. So far, it's starting off warm. We've got some very mild temperatures. We've got some melting going on today as temperatures rise above freezing and even into Tuesday as well, though we'll have a northwesterly wind kicking in Tuesday. And that is associated with our first clipper that's going to move through tonight and into tomorrow. So it's going to bring about a chance for a mix, mainly rain actually for a lot of us, which is interesting in January, and also a concern anytime, you have temperatures in that freezing range. And then, so we'll be watching out for that tonight and into early tomorrow. And then we actually have a first alert weather day for Thursday and Friday. And this clipper, a little more powerful, also has the potential to produce snow, more accumulating snow, and the possibility for wind to accompany that snow. So that means reduced visibility, some blowing, drifting, and travel impacts Thursday, and especially into Friday. It's going to start on Thursday and really be rocking on Friday. So let's take a look at what we've got going on, starting with today. Nice and quiet and clear, lots of areas with clear sky, a few clouds drifting through. So it's looking good so far. Afternoon planner, you can see we're looking at temperatures that are going to be rising into the 30s to some low 40s coming up for this afternoon. Winds are in the light range, only up to 12 miles per hour. If we have wind, it's out of the west or out of the south, or somewhere in between those directions, all considered to be warming directions for us here in the valley. And we're looking out for gusts that are going to be increasing through the day, especially in the west. That's why we're taking a look at the Devil's Lake wind gust planner here. You can see that we've got gusts into the teens and 20s and then getting closer to 30 miles per hour as we head into the evening here this evening. And I forgot to pull up our temperature graph, and I want to show you where our temperatures stand right now. So I'm going to go to our website and just look at it right there for you. We'll pull that up for you here. You can see that we've got our weather page is at valleynewslive.com/weather, and go to maps, and you can get a lot of current conditions right here on our maps page. And some places looking pretty warm. Look at Jamestown, 36 degrees right now. Let's take a look at the map. You can see that we've got 27 currently in Fargo. It's 22 in Grand Forks, 30 in Detroit Lakes and Wadena already. And again, this white line, that's the computer plotting that freezing mark. 36 in Jamestown. Check out Sisseton, 40 degrees reported there. So pretty warm already. Our wind chills, there's a little bit of a wind chill factor, especially along the border, but mainly tolerable, especially because of that sunshine we've got going on out there too. And again, you can check all sorts of things on this, looking ahead to tomorrow morning and into the afternoon. That's one thing to point out here. You can see tomorrow morning, we'll pull this up full screen. We're looking at temperatures mid to upper 30s, even some low 40s, just to kick off the day. But afternoon, temperatures don't change much. They may even be a couple of degrees cooler because of that colder air rushing in with that northwesterly wind. So that's something to point out as well. And no current watches or advisories or warnings going on. So that's a look at, a way to kind of keep track of things on our website if you want to as well. So let's go back to now forecasting the system for tonight. So we're going to pull up our hour-by-hour planner for today. You can see as we go through time that we're going to see temperatures on the rise, and by this afternoon we are in the 30s and low 40s. Wind is, starting to pick up a little, but not bad. Some gusts in the teens and some 20s. and some partly cloudy skies. And then moving into tonight, this is when we're watching out for the potential for rain. Yes, rain heading into tonight. This is 8 p.m. Let's move on into the late night hours, 11 o'clock. Where we're most likely to see the precip is in this area, Northern Valley, and then our eastern viewing area. So essentially northwest Minnesota, and then places along and north of Highway 2. Doesn't mean we won't see snow or rain in this area here in southeastern North Dakota, but it's going to follow the clipper more, and so the better chances are kind of on this diagonal here, heading from northwest to southeast. So just keep that in mind here. If you're in places like Jamestown, you may not see much rain. Fargo may be, missing out with it being scattered as well. So this is 11 o'clock. You can see that there are areas getting some snow, and then there's that green in there indicating rain in the mix as well. And then moving on into the overnight hours, that initial line moves southeast, but we're still looking out for the potential for some scattered, isolated snow showers working our way into tomorrow morning. You can see those there. And this is 8 a.m. on Tuesday. At that point, a lot of the precip is winding down or done, but it could still be lingering in parts of the north and east. And look, it's just incredible that our temperatures are going to be as warm as they are. Our average low for today's date is 0 in Fargo. And we are going to be in that range of being almost 40 degrees above our average low in the morning hours tomorrow. Incredible in January. Some of us will be around 40 to start off the day tomorrow morning. And in Grand Forks, we'll be into the upper 30s as well. So it's going to be very, very warm to start. It's going to be windy, but it is going to be very warm to kick off the day tomorrow. And I'm just going to pull up Fargo's average low is 0. I'm going to look up Grand Forks' average low here for today's date is 3 below. So we will, if we are at 38 at 8 a.m., that will be more than 40 degrees warmer than the average for Grand Forks. And this is, climatologically speaking, the coldest time of year from an average standpoint. Fargo's average high is 18. Our average low is 0. That's the lowest in this range, this time of year, that we see these temperatures, these average temperatures. Grand Forks, 15 is our average high, 3 below is our average low. So definitely, expect to see those kind of numbers this time of year, and we're not going to see that, at least not for today and heading into Tuesday as well. And it will be really above average, incredibly notable in the morning hours again for tomorrow. So again, just very, very warm, holding on to that warmth. However, there will be that wind. You can see the winds gusting here into the 30s tomorrow morning. So that's going to make for a wind chill factor, not feeling as pleasant out there. So looking at our wind forecast for Tuesday, again, today, not so bad. We've got wind out of the south or southwest, should be pretty light most of the day. Into this evening is when it starts to pick up. And then it turns northwesterly once the clipper passes by. And you can see through the day, 9 a.m. through 7 p.m. tomorrow, we've got gusts with the potential to 30 to 35 miles per hour. There won't be much precip going on. There, in fact, it'll be winding down in the morning and then quieter. But there will be, and the good news also is with the warmer temperatures, the snowpack that's there, some of it will melt in some areas. That's where it's pretty thin. And then other places, it's going to be kind of more crusted over with the icing on top of it with the melting and then refreeze or some of the rain that falls as well that may ice over it. So the snow won't be easily lofted, but it will still be a windy day coming up for Tuesday. Now, heading into, we're going to skip past Wednesday. Wednesday is going to be a quieter day. We're talking about, it's not going to be completely quiet, but we're looking at drier conditions, a little bit of a break in between systems. It's going to be colder. I think our forecast high is 17 for Wednesday, which again is right at average. So kind of an average January day on Wednesday. And then Thursday, we get this surge of warmth coming back in ahead of the next clipper, which is what we're first alerting you to behind me here. So that's going to hit Thursday, more to Thursday afternoon, and then continuing on into Friday. We're going to be watching for this one to be bringing in some colder air with it. So we're going to be starting off a little bit chillier, not as warm an air mass, but still milder than average, we'll say. But we're looking out for more snow with this one, and not just snow, but wind. And so that combo will bring about that chance for blowing snow Friday night, happening into into Friday, and even some wind sticking around into Saturday as well. There's some varying, outputs from models, so it's, not 100% nailed down the forecast, but we are definitely seeing it here as the possible impact for us. So let's take a look. So we're going to start things off on Thursday morning. We're going to see the chance for some snow dropping into the afternoon hours. This is 3 p.m. And where our models have been more focused so far is more in northwest Minnesota. Doesn't mean we will be getting out scot-free here in eastern North Dakota either. This is just the current model scenario. It's still, again, several days away. And looking at the potential for snow also dropping into North Dakota too here as we go through time. This is 6 p.m. on Thursday, still seeing that chance for some snow continuing on into Thursday night. There's that chance for more scattered snow showers overnight and heading into Friday morning. So you can see the Dakotas and Minnesota and beyond potentially being impacted. And you can see the wind field here too. It's much stronger out to the west, but eventually this low has to shift eastward and we'll see those winds increase. And so by Friday noon, we could have some, more blowing snow happening and still the potential for some falling snow. And then moving on into Friday night, the snow showers start to wind down, but it may still be a bit breezy at that point. So that's the next one we're watching. Taking a look at our wind gust planner. I'm actually going to show you the map behind me here. We're going to go through the whole week. We're going to look at what this particular model is showing for gusts through the course of the week. So we're going to start with today and the wind that's amping up for tonight and into tomorrow. We'll, take that break on Wednesday and then Thursday and into Friday. So the numbers behind me here on this map are your wind gusts in miles per hour. Okay, so not bad right now, right? We're looking at some pretty quiet weather. And then moving on into this evening, this is when we start to see those winds pick up. And so by the time we get into tomorrow morning, this is 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, we've got the potential for some gusts into the 30s to some 40s. So even with milder temperatures, it's not going to feel that pleasant out there. And then through the day, still on the windy side, this is 6 p.m. Still seeing wind gusts into that 30 mile per hour range possible, and that continues into Tuesday night. So moving into Wednesday morning, you can see that wind field moving on. Wednesday, we get this little bit of a lull. This is Wednesday afternoon. And then moving on into Thursday, we'll start to see that wind picking up. And so by the time we get into Thursday afternoon and evening, we've got gusts in the 20s and some 30s again. Some places you see here where we're getting close to that 40 mile per hour mark in parts of North Dakota around that 5:30 time frame. And we may reach there in the overnight hours heading into Friday morning. And then Friday, watching for some wind gusts into the 30s. Now, I'm showing you a snowfall potential map with a very large asterisk next to it here because we are still, how many days away here? Look at 4 or 5 days away from this event. It's a little too soon to be giving you a forecast number, how much snow we can expect to see for sure. But I do want to show you, what the magnitude is looking like in general and, where and how much moisture the models are showing within this system so far and where they're potentially going to concentrate that. But again, I just want to say, with that huge grain of salt that we are likely to see a little shift here, so we want you to come back and get the official forecast as we get closer. So with that said, here's one of our models. This is the European model showing the potential. And this is not a heavy amount of snow, but it's more than we've seen in recent days. The potential for, several 3 to 5 inches of snow for some areas with this system, which, again, we're not unused to that, but when you enter some wind to the mix, that's enough to create some tougher visibility, tougher travel conditions. And this is through Friday night, so this is through the course of that system. Other models, longer range models, also kind of more concentrating that snow on the Minnesota side of the Red River, but you can see there's still going to be snow in North Dakota if this scenario is what ends up happening here. It's just we're looking at, again, more to the east at the moment. So keep that in mind. Check back with us for the latest as we get closer on our first alert weather days on Thursday and heading into Friday. So let's take a look at our 11-day planner because we want to talk temperatures too. So we'll pull that back up, full screen here. There we go. And you can see that we've got rain possible tonight, again, with rain possible more in the north and east and then maybe some mix in there too. And then heading into Tuesday, I can't rule out a shower or two on Tuesday with some wind and temperatures that may end up being warmer in the morning than in the afternoon, though there's not going to be a huge temperature drop. At least it's not looking like right at the moment on Tuesday, though temperatures will generally, with that northwesterly wind, be on that downward trend through the course of the day on Tuesday, with that wind gusting into the 30s. There could be a 40-mile-per-hour wind gust possible on Thursday as well. But once we get into, Tuesday as well, once we get into Tuesday night and those temperatures start to dip, it will be harder to warm up on Wednesday with that colder air in place. We'll be more into the teens on Wednesday. And then, here comes that chance for some snow on Wednesday, again, quieter, and then we'll move ahead into our first alert weather days on Thursday and Friday. Here comes that chance for some wind. We could see windy weather, gusts the 40 miles per hour possible Thursday and into Friday, and that possibility for a few inches of snow too. And so that mix is concerning for travelers with visibility reductions and the possibility for some drifting and snow accumulation on the roads. And the breeze does stick around into Saturday. It won't be as strong, but still some gusts 20 to 30 miles per hour and colder air in place. So end of week could be a little tough if you've got some travel plans. Again, you'll want to make sure you're checking back with us for that forecast. Sunday, a little warm up. That looks to be the better day of the two this weekend, we'll say. And then next week, as we've been talking about this for a while now, that second half of January looking a lot more like the second half of January as opposed to the very warm weather we've had leading up to this time frame. So we will see temperatures more into the single digits for highs, teens for highs. But what we're not seeing is, a massive Arctic outbreak right now. It just looks like we've got temperatures that are colder, turning to more January numbers here and below average, but not by a huge amount. So looking out for that next week. And if you're a snow lover, this is great for you because, we're having some warm days here. That's kind of making that snowpack more icy or taking away from it. And so then we're going to add some more snow to the mix. Not a lot, but more snow to the mix on Friday. And that looks to stick around at least into next week. And we'll see if that continues beyond as we continue on in the forecast heading into the second half, the end part of January. So I'm just going to take a look, see if we've got any questions from you about what our latest forecast is looking like for this week. If you love the warmer weather, today is your day. It looks beautiful out there. We've got mild temperatures. We've got not too much wind going on. Tomorrow, numbers will still be up, but they are going to be more on the windy side for tomorrow, so it's not going to feel as great outside. And then Thursday, that big surge of warmth also, that big surge of warmth also comes with quite a bit of wind. So, and then the snow is moving in at that point too. So not as pleasant coming up for your Thursday in the forecast. So here's a look at, again, our 11-day planner. I'm not seeing any questions from any viewers, so we'll go ahead and start wrapping things up here for you. We will, here, let me just leave you with this. We'll leave you with the beautiful sunshine that we've got going on right now. And we'll be back here tomorrow to keep you up to date on what's going on with this first system this week, overnight tonight into tomorrow. And then again, heading into the end of the week, Thursday, and into Friday for our first alert weather days. This has been your weather update brought to you by 1-800-WATER-DAMAGE of North Dakota.
There's no such thing as a small disaster. So when you call 1-800-WATER-DAMAGE of North Dakota, we come prepared to restore your life back to normal. From burst pipes to unexpected mold discoveries or fire damage, when things couldn't be worse, we come to you with our best. With empathy, local expertise, and a truck full of seriously powerful equipment. 1-800-WATER-DAMAGE of North Dakota. Restoring what matters most. 701-670-2022.